Erie's Little Italy district sits in the heart of Erie. The Little Italy area was originally settled by the Germans in the early 1830s. It wasn't until the early 1900s that Italian immigrants began to develop the land. Between 1899 and 1910, more than 2 million Italians had immigrated to the United States. The majority of these immigrants settled in the northeastern states, including New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. By 1920, Erie's Little Italy had 8,000 Italian citizens living in the area. Because of this immigration boom, Italian culture sprung up throughout Erie's west side. The Italian populace remained a large part of the community up to 1960. In the 1960s, Italians in Erie moved out of the neighborhood. What they left behind reflects the neglected remnants of a once flourishing Italian community. Today, these streets are littered with loose garbage spilling from overflowing dumpsters and waste tins. Construction vehicles and large SUVs cram the small side roads of the district. Trains rumble through the industrial region of Little Italy. Today, Little Italy is the most crime-ridden neighborhood in Erie. Poverty rates are on the rise, with more than half of the residents unemployed. The Sisters of St. Joseph are doing all they can to revitalize the neighborhood. Their main goal is to rid the area of crime and bring permanent residents into the neighborhood. Sue Wisniewski is the development director at St. Joseph's. She has lived in Little Italy all her life and has worked directly with the sisters for 12 years.
I guess it was a combination of all the sisters knowing they had to reach out and do another ministry.
Right now, most of the revitalization has been geared to working with families. Wally Brown is the neighborhood network director. Brown heads the Neighborhood Watch program here.
This area here was the highest crime and most infested area of the whole city of Erie. And it was close to the hospital, so they said, if we're going to do something, we're going to do it here.
Wisniewski says the Neighborhood Watch recently received a grant to set up security cameras on various street corners to control crime. These cameras are monitored in live time by Erie police on smartphones.
Drugs, prostitution, you'll see very little of that now. Yeah. But when I first started here, it was 9 years ago. In this one square block, there was probably about 8 drug houses.
Just yards away from the sister's house, Brown points out a street corner where a baby was shot and killed.
3 years ago, there was a baby got shot in the back part, and that there one there. So the owners, what we did is, see, I run the Neighborhood Watch here. So what we did is we got the district attorney to write a letter to all these houses that we know that were bad, and he told me if they don't clean up their act and make it a safe environment for the rest of the neighbors, he will take them to court and they could end up losing their property.
Tragedies like this are what the sisters are working to prevent. One way they're trying to do this is by bringing in a new generation of people into the neighborhood. They do this through a program called Genesis House. Genesis House is a program that provides reduced rent to people who can't afford housing. It's specifically geared towards refugees who are placed in the community by Erie's International Institute.
Yeah, the refugees, you're working from scratch, and there's a language barrier there too, and you're learning with them.
The goal of Genesis House is to place refugees in a home and teach them to live independently. The sisters, along with numerous volunteers, teach the refugees skills that include everyday household maintenance and how to balance a budget. In an effort to revitalize Little Italy and keep residents within the community, the Sisters of St. Joseph offer a $1,200 down payment on any houses purchased on West 12th Street to West 26th Street. Much has changed since the birth of Little Italy in 1920. It's gone from a vibrant Italian neighborhood to a violent, crime-ridden area. Today, the sisters work to revitalize the neighborhood. They still have a long road ahead, but they remain persistent and committed to the people of Little Italy.
Like I said, we work with one family at a time, one house at a time, and eventually we'll get the neighborhood done. And it's actually starting to take root.